Would you welcome the Sustainability Planner with the Office of the Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Army for Energy and Sustainability, Wanda Johnsen.
Good afternoon. Army Net Zero is really an integrated design approach to our existing programs for energy, water, and waste. The key difference is that our end result, or our end goal, is resilient installations that are as efficient related to resources as they can possibly be. So we started 4 years ago with 17 volunteer pilot installations. And to be representative, we picked installations from across the regions, from large to small, and with different missions. So we looked at industrial bases, we looked at our tactical training bases, and we looked at administrative type bases. So some of the pilots were already doing really well, and frankly, some of those pilots were struggling, but I am happy to say that after our first 4 years, all of those pilots are making progress today. And based on the progress that they've been making, we decided last year to extend Net Zero Army-wide through an Army directive. And so now all Army installations are instructed to implement strategies that strive toward net zero where fiscally prudent. To go along with their efforts, we're also working to embed net zero in our policies, guidance, and even in our new energy and sustainability strategy. So the net zero hierarchy is the same for energy, water, and waste. We start at the top of the triangle, and by design, the largest effort is on reduction. So you can't be net zero just by skipping to the bottom of the triangle. You have to work on all aspects of the triangle. And awareness and culture change are supporting elements for all of the net zero triangles. So net zero energy starts with planning toward, based on audits. So we do energy audits to identify energy efficiencies and energy conservation measures that we can take first. And while we're working on that effort to reduce demand, we're also looking at opportunities for recovery of waste heat and for opportunities for cogeneration. And then finally, we conduct renewable energy assessments to identify viable renewable energy projects that can help us meet that reduced demand. So net zero water also starts by looking for reductions. Water balance assessments are the first thing that we do, and those assessments are looking at how much water is used by each process, but we're also trying to figure out what is the absolute water need for those processes, not just the current use, but what do we really need for that process. And then these efforts are helping us identify where we can reduce water use. Next, we focus on efficiencies, whether it's low-flow fixtures, more efficient industrial processes, zero-scaping, or even better O&M practices. So how can we use less water when we do water system flushing, for example? And then water reuse, and then matching the quality of water use to the type of water being used also go hand in hand. So we believe that when we can use gray water where appropriate, it's going to save us potable water, but it's also going to reduce our energy demand, and likewise, it's going to reduce our treatment costs. And then finally, we're looking at alternative water strategies that work to improve water security and water reliability. So net zero waste is a little bit different. It starts with better procurement. So what we've started to do is, in addition to doing waste characterization, we're doing material flow analysis to track that waste back to its source of origin, and that's helping us identify better ways to procure that reduce the waste that's ultimately generated. Diversion is our next focus, and it includes donation of excess usable items. So that could be food, it could be furnishings, it could be deconstructed building materials. Just as a point of note, we issued new Army food donation guidance last year, so we're hoping to do great things with that. Other diversion efforts include repurposing materials for other uses and recycling and composting. And another note is that a large percent of our waste stream is organic waste. So where we have space, we're trying to do some land-based composting, and where we don't have space, we're looking at containerized options. And a good example of that would be like our dining facilities. So after we've maximized our diversion and our reuse opportunities, then we're looking at energy recovery. And then after energy recovery, the final goal is zero landfill. So how are we doing all of these net zero efforts? First and foremost, it's communication and collaboration. Our installations are telling their story internally and externally, and we've posted some net zero summary reports on our website. But we're also collaborating on multiple levels. So through cross-functional teams at the installations, we're collaborating between installations, we're collaborating with our surrounding communities and our ESCOs and our ESPC partners and UESC partners, and we're finally collaborating with these federal agencies. So Ken and his team from GSA have worked at Fort Carson, FEMP, NREL, PNNL, and EPA have worked at multiple of our pilot installations, and after today, I hope we have the opportunity to work with many of you. So on behalf of the Army, we'd like to say thanks for letting us talk a little bit about net zero, and my time is up. Thank you.